Okay, happy Monday, guys. We're back at it again. We're at London session. Well, not yet at London, but we're getting there. So it's 1:36 p.m. I've got my alerts drawn up. We're waiting on a liquidity sweep at the moment. So I'll just let you know what I'm looking at the moment and what we've seen on the higher time frame. So if we look up here, we've got some liquidity resting up here. I've drawn a horizontal ray, right? So this area is of high interest to me, and I will show you why. So if we go to the daily, right, the higher time frame, what can we see? So when you look at that, what can you see? For me, I see a daily high, right? So that's the daily high wick there. And I see a big bearish FVG. So that's two PD arrays lining up with one another, right? So that has high probability for price to come into that area to reach for liquidity, right? So that is why I've got a horizontal ray resting on that area. Because for me, for today, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a price to come, sweep that area, and then further sells to the downside. Now, if we have a look below the daily, we've obviously got lows resting here. We've got all this to be taken out, right? So if we go back to even, let's have a look at the 4 hour for a minute. Yeah, so 4 hour, the same thing. We've got, we've got that breaker structure in here too that we had to the downside, and then obviously we're coming back up to this area. Now, if let's just go back to the 15, right? So we've got our alerts there. They haven't been set off yet. This is good. We've just been consolidating during Asia, which is great. So this should give us a higher probability to get our breakout to the upside or the downside. So we'll be waiting for that. This is my area of interest today. If it just wicks up, takes off the alert and goes down, I'm not interested, because look how close we are to this area. So I wouldn't be getting in early on this. I'm waiting for this zone to be tapped into, because if it doesn't, what can happen is we can wick out, get a breaker structure to the downside. I could enter off it and get stopped out because price came back and took this out. So when you've got a big area of liquidity resting so close to price action, you want to wait for that to be swept. So that's what I'll be doing today. Now, of course, we can still go down and sweep sell side liquidity and then buy instead, and we could be targeting this area as a buy instead. But where price is sitting at the moment, we're so close to this range, I would think we would, be going to the upside to take that liquidity to then drop down further. And like usual, I'll only be targeting a 2R on the London session trade. New York, I can target a bit more. And we could be targeting these areas for New York, possibly, depending where price is at the time. This could be an area to target for your TPs for New York. So, yeah, let's see what happens, and I'll check back in when we've had a liquidity sweep. Okay, so this is what I mean. So I just want to show you this. So you can see how we got a small amount of liquidity resting above this Asia high. We had an order block in here before the little retracement and then the push back up. You can see here where we actually swept. We did sweep that area of liquidity, and now we've had a break structure to the downside and an order block. So it looks like we are pressing back down. I haven't taken this trade because, like I said, if we look on the 15-minute, yeah, definitely wicked up, but we just didn't take that area. So that may be a New York trade. So I'm going to wait and see what happens. Obviously, price hasn't really gone back into this FVG, but I'm still waiting. For me, this still wasn't like a solid sweep, because 130 for me is the cutoff for this Asia range. And I'm not happy with this. Yeah, it will probably go and sink and do 2R, but because we had that liquidity resting so close, I'm just not happy to take it. And it's still early. It's 1:45 p.m. So I'm just going to wait now. Okay, I just did want to line this up and see what the risk to reward would look like, what the trade would look like. Obviously, I haven't been activated in because price had already been back to this area. So we'll see what happens. I'm only risking a small amount if it does activate me, which is $100. So yeah, this is a 2-to-1 on this. 2 to 13 apparently. So we'll just have to fix this. I just want to do a 2R. I don't want anything too crazy. Okay, so we'll just see. Price may, it looks like it's coming back. Oops, so this tool's not correct. So let's fix this. All right, so I've been activated into this trade. So let's see what happens. This is high risk because, like I said, we'll show you on the 15 minutes. So we wicked out, we've come back down. So wicked out, came back down. We did make an order block on the lower time frame. So if we have a look, we have made an order block here. So if price kind of doesn't respect this area and we come back, I'll get stopped out and I'll look for a re-entry, but we'll just see. So this could be happening here. So this is why I wasn't going to re-enter, but let's not re-enter, but enter this trade. So we'll see what happens. High probability now may get stopped out. And if that's the case, we are going for that high liquidity that I was talking about, which is up here. Yeah. So if that's the case, that's fine. And we'll just wait for a re-entry. So we'll just see what happens. High risk trade. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's just, I saw this order block and I'm like, oh, you know, I'll risk it for the biscuits. So I've just got the stops above that high. I didn't necessarily want them up above here because it would just make it, me to get a 2R then on this trade would be all the way down here somewhere. Let's have a look. Let me have a look and I'll be back. Okay, so you can see me to get a 2R, if I swap my stop loss to above there, it'll be looking like this. It's not too bad, but because this is a high risk setup, I don't want to have a wide stop. If we had already taken out a high PD array on the higher time frame, like an obvious one, then I would have been happy to risk this. But because we haven't yet, if you look, we just wicked out. So this is our higher probability PD array over here. So I'm just going to wait. We'll wait and see what happens. Nearly kind of back into profit now. But yeah, we'll see. If this high now gets broken this week, then we're probably going higher and this will get stopped out. So we'll just see what happens. What's time? Nearly 2 o'clock. So if we do come back into this area, I might actually look at just getting out at break even. Unless I saw a really big push to the downside and we broke these lows, then I'd go, okay, this is looking okay. But we'll just see. We'll see what happens. Okay, I just wanted to record this because I do believe we're going to get stopped out. So we'll record this. We'll get stopped out. We're probably looking for another entry on this trade. I was only risking, what was it, 0.2. I think 0.19 at the end of all that. So it wasn't much. So that says about $99. Let's just have a look. So risking 33 ticks. Go back here, 33 ticks. Okay, so $99 we're risking. Very, very small risk. And I do that on purpose, guys. So when I see a setup that is very high risk, I'll risk a small amount and then go from there. So at the moment on the 15, this is going to go one or two ways. It's either going to go in our favor or not. But if we do have a look on the 15-minute, right, if we look at the structure, we were creating lower highs, right? So lower high wick here, lower high wick here, lower high wick here. We need this candle then. For me to get stopped out, we need to go above this wick, right? We haven't yet, but it looks like we're having a bit of a pumpy. So we'll see what goes on. Yeah, we've created a few FVGs here. Once we break this area, I'll probably be saying see you later to this trade, and then we'll just wait our re-entry. If that does happen, it looks like to me definitely it'll be a further sweep, but we'll just see what goes on here and then go from there. Like I said, if we do come back into this area, I'll probably be, depends how much volume we have. We haven't got a heap of volume at the moment, but if we did have enough volume and we did break this low, then I'd be just looking at moving stops to break even. And then going from there. If not, depending on what it looks like, I could even get out at break even on this trade, just because really I shouldn't have got in it in the first place. But anyway, we're risking it. So we'll just see. Okay, so price is just kind of consolidating now in this area. We haven't really moved much. So we can see we're coming back. Oh, we're coming back a bit now. But you can see we got this big FVG. So one or two things can happen. We're going to come back into this area, mitigate this to push up further, which can happen. Or we're just going to go down and this trade will hit TP. So we'll just see this FVG though. That's what I'm wondering is we can just come back in. As you know, price is drawn to the FVGs, come back in, tap it, and then bounce. And if we do bounce, like I said, we need to hit above this area. So we'll just see what it does. You can see price is rejected off this area. We've got to candle opening green at the moment. So let's just see if we keep bouncing off this, then, you know, it's not going to go in our favor. We really do need to come down through it, really. So let's just see what goes on. And then it depends if I get enough time to close out the trade, or whether, like I said, if we get a nice volume through this FVG and we seem to be rejecting through it, we can have a break below these lows. I'll just look at moving my stops to break even, just because this trade is risky. If we hadn't had this order block in here, I actually wouldn't have got into this trade at all. Yeah, you can see now. See what I mean? We bounced off this FVG. Quite a bit of volatility coming in. So if we do close below here, I'm just going to close the trade just because it's super risky, and it looks like, yeah, we're going to have that bounce. So let's see. Yeah, so let's just use that FVG as support. Yeah, so once we hit stop loss on this, we'll just be looking for a re-entry. If we hit bloody stop loss, here we go. So we're actually, what's it going to do? Oh, God, didn't even have time then. If we can get a really nice close, but it's really volatile. It's 2 o'clock, but this is really shit price action for me. So, yeah, I would like, yeah. We also haven't broke above this as well, so that's okay. Here we go again. So it is attempting to break above that. What I could do, I'm just going to have to wait it out, guys, because unless I can get out at break even. It's good. I like to record all this because it's good to see live price action, live trade management and things like this. So yeah, now we need to close below this low, right, for this FVG to no longer hold any momentum. We really do need a full body close below here. But again, we're not really creating higher highs at the moment. Even if we look at the 15, it will still be, yeah. So it's kind of like a double, almost like a double top wick really up the top here, like double top even. But you can see price does want to break through here. We've had a few attempts, so let's see what this candle does. All right, guys, I'll be back. Okay, guys, so you can see I was back in profit for like 2 seconds on this trade. I hadn't even had time to close it. It hasn't given me enough time to close. I want to close, obviously, with the commission covered as well. We haven't broken above this yet, so we'll just see. But we can see we're sideways. So we're going to have a major move to the up or the down. It's going to be either. But I did want to close it because I want to get in once we have the volume and we've had that proper sweep. But I'm already in now, so this is just me trying to do live freaking trade management. I'm not going to close it at such a small amount. That's ridiculous. So I'll wait. If we can get it again, I just want it to drop a little bit below here just so I can close it. And if it doesn't, well, that's fine. But you can see we've had a lot of rejections to the upside. So we just still haven't been able to break. See this, even this candle here, is lower. So you'll see we're just pushing back again now, but like I'm saying, we are bouncing off this FVG. So we really do need to just have a major push below it. And if we do, then I see volume coming and us hitting this, but we just need to get out of this yucky range. So yeah, you'll see we're probably going to tap in here again. And yeah, so I wouldn't mind. So here we go. Oh, see what I mean? It's so quick, you don't even see the green come up. So it tapped in there, would have been in profit, but it didn't, it didn't actually show. So we'll just wait patiently. And if not, we might get stopped out. Right, let's see. Hilarious though how many attempts it's had. Like here, you can see. And it's literally all that's stopping it right now is this FVG, this bullish FVG. So here's the next attempt to break through by the look of it. Let's see. Have a look at the 15 again. Yeah, so we're still looking the same on the 15. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to me, I really do think I'm getting stopped out on this just because we've just had this wick, that wick, and that just says to me, look, price does want to go up. It really does to sweep further. Yeah. Yeah, so for me to be able to close this out and profit would be, might not even happen, but we'll just see, because I'll need to cover the commission. How many ticks is that? About, I think I need about 10 ticks. So I think when we're in this area here, it was about $6. So you need about 10 to cover. But I think, coming into open, it's just going to be explosive move, I reckon, up to then drop further. So I think this is way too early. But anyway, it is what it is. Psychology. Okay, so here we go again. So we're up 9. I just want to see now how we react to this level. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do, right, we're going down. I'm going to move stops to break even. We've had a breaker structure now. Well, actually, I don't want it there. Hang on. I don't actually want it there. Because now we've had that breaker structure. Hang on, put my stop. This is good now. This is what I wanted to see, a breaker structure. So, yeah. So what's the time? 2 o'clock as well. Yeah. Actually, let's just do this. Oh no, that should be all good. Hang on, I'll just get rid of that because we've got this FVG now. Price is going to come in, tap into that. And it is what it is. So if we get stopped on this, I'm okay because like we've had these 2 breaker structures. And if it does reverse from here, it just wasn't going to happen anyway. So I'm just going to leave this now to play out just because we've had this second breaker structure and we've broken those lows and we had that FVG. So really we should get our 2R from this trade now. And we have got liquidity resting here, which hasn't been mitigated yet. It's been close. Then our next lot of liquidity, let's have a look, is where my buy limit is. So we've got an order block there. Okay. Looks like price is coming back near the entry level. All right. So am I still recording? Yep. Okay, I just want to see how price reacts to this level because, like I said, we've got liquidity resting here. So just the bottom here, really. So we just want to see what price does. We've created another FVG, so that's good. If we break through this level, okay, I see us coming into where that order block is. So that would mean that's good because it's lining up with our 2R. If price kind of bounces off this level, then that would say to me that, oh, here we go. Yeah, so that's good. Let's see what she's going to do. I could. I was wondering whether stops to break even now. It looks like we rejected off. So we took that liquidity, we rejected. We just need to close below it. What are we going for? 66 ticks, which is how much? Oops. 198. Yeah, so just a little bit below $200 on this trade. Just got to see what price is going to do now. Whether that was our liquidity grab. Looks pretty positive. We're rejecting off this FEG. So yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Let's have a look on the 15-minute, what that area is lining up with. Yeah, so on the 15-minute, we've got this FVG here. Obviously, prices come in. So one or two things, we can bounce off of it, or we're coming into this breaker structure area. We've also got this FVG below as well here, just below my TP, which would be good. Now you can see on the higher time frame now we've had the change of character, which is great, which is really good for us now for the 1 minute. So this looks pretty doable to me. Even this FVG in here, really, you could target that, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to do the flat 2R, just being London and being Monday. Not going to be too greedy on this. So, yeah. So really, we could also be moving stops to break even as well at this point in time, just because it's 214, being a Monday. We'll just see what goes on. I think about there should be fine. Just want to see, I just want to check the ticks, how many ticks that is, because we want it to cover, if I do get stopped out in profit, we want it to cover the commissions and stuff, so it's not an actual loss trade. I think that's about 4 or 5 ticks. Should be okay. We'll just see now, because like how prices reacted from here. Okay, so this may get stopped out and break even, which I'll be fine with. If it happens, it happens. Just because we've done this big wicked up, we've also got this FVG, so price can come back, tap in and then drop, you know. So we just got to see how it reacts here. Okay, so you can see it came in and it's dropped me out break even, so that's fine. Like I said, it'll probably come in, tap into that and then reject off, which if it does this, it's fine. Look, I'm not going to try and re-enter now. Just because we're coming in, yeah, 218. I just want to see now what price does, because we're coming into soon into London. So I'm not going to risk anything now, especially after hitting break even. So that was an all right trade at, you know, what did it do? Freaking 1.45. So we'll just see. Because if it takes out all this, I'm going to wait for the sweep, further up sweep, which could happen. So let's just get rid of this for a minute. Here we go. So we're getting a bit of volume. So remember, people's stop losses are going to be above here if they entered on this breaker structure. So let's see what price does. If it doesn't break this, then it's respecting this breaker structure and we should see lower prices, but I'm actually hoping it, I know it's awful, but I hope it does break above this and here so I can get a solid re-entry, but we're not in a loss for today, so I'm not worried. We're risk-free. It was just, I mean, far out. We just made what, $5 off that. So it covered the commission and a little bit of profit, $5.76. So yeah, let's see what she does. It's my daughter. Okay, so look what's happened. We broke this structure here. So that trade I was originally in, if I hadn't moved my stops to break even, I would have been stopped out right here. So that was a good call. We had this order block created in here for the push up. So yeah, let's wait now. So I think what we're looking at here, we should by rights break above this. So I'm just going to be waiting now. It's 225. So we'll have some volume come in. We'll have a proper liquidity sweep and then wait for some sells. Okay, guys, so we've had our alert set off. So we've just tapped into this Asia high. So we're going to go back to the 15-minute now because we are waiting now for a higher probability sweep. So yeah, so this area is still of high interest to me. I just want to see how we go. If we close above, let's just put a horizontal ray here. So this is that wick we had. If we close above this, we are definitely looking for higher liquidity. It looks like we're going to be testing that area now. And this is why I'm really glad when I get into a high risk trade as we did earlier here, that I moved the stops to break even and got out of that trade because it's not high probability. And it just shows you, it's just psychology, isn't it? You just get that FOMO, fear of missing out. You could see we're creating lower highs here. So all we did really was we came back to this FVG to push higher. That's all we did in this situation. And we've had a breaker structure now, so we are going to get a push. So we've already tested this. We just need a break above this now. And this will be looking pretty. Being let's see how many ticks away it is. Being where it is, we may not get the full run there. Oh, 47 ticks. No, we should do. We should be able to. I'm going to put an alert up here. So let's see. So I'm just going to be waiting patiently now, guys, and just see what happens. We're pushing up above it now, which is great. It's what we wanted to see. This shows you high probability when you've got FVGs like that lining up with two higher time frames, price is going to be magnetized towards it. So it just shows that this trade wasn't the proper breaker structure. It wasn't. It was just going to get a bit more liquidity from this FVG to bounce. Anyway, I'll be back once we've had a liquidity sweep. Okay, so you can see price is really driving up now. So driving to this area. Okay, we've taken the liquidity here. So alert's just been set off. So we're going to drop down to the 1 minute now. We're going to wait for entries. So if we have a look at that, we're not really getting an entry till here, really, and that is the higher risk. So if we wait for the breaker structure, it won't be till down here. But I will risk it and try and get an entry from here depending, I mean, it could be brought further up if we make a bit of structure and push up. We just have to see. So we'll just see what price does. Okay, so we've got a bit of a high risk trade pending order here. We haven't been activated. We can see we've created this leg. So if price did go back up a little bit, this would be the low leg to break. So I've just put my pending on this FVG. We haven't come back to it to activate it. We are actually going down. So yeah, we'll just see what happens if price comes back in, activates us in. It isn't a breaker structure or anything, so it is a risk, but we created that high. We're reversing now. I should have really risked a trade higher up, but it's okay. We'll see what happens. Looks like it's just going to sink. And yeah, I may be having to get in a little bit further down for an actual breaker structure, but we'll see what happens. I would ideally like to get wicked in here, just it'd be a better entry, but we'll see what goes on. Okay, so we're in this trade, we're in it early, obviously it's risk. The reason is I always, when I have a higher time frame PDRA mitigated, I will get in earlier. Just because when you have a big leg like this, you can see you're waiting a while for a breaker structure. So for us now, the breaker structure will be here. So our entry was here. So we did get a better entry than waiting. So if we have a look, yeah, 25 ticks. So by rights, if this is the low and the low, you know, the high of this leg, then we won't get stopped out. If it's not, if it's still going for more liquidity, we will get stopped. But if not, then this entry will be fine. So we'll just see what happens. As soon as it hits below here, then I'll go, yep, that's fine. Okay, guys, we're a few minutes off the open. I just want to see a close, like I said, below here. Once we have a breaker structure, then happy days for this trade. And we're coming into where volume will be coming. So we just really do need to see a break below here before getting excited. But yeah, I mean, really, we get a break below there. That's where, if I wasn't risking and doing a high risk trade setup, my entry would be here off the break of this, right? And then obviously the swing high would be the stop loss. But yeah, so we're risking it on this setup because of the liquidity that was taken out. So we'll just move this over here. That's where my entry was. And then our stop's above there. So we'll just see what happens here. Oh, so yeah, volume coming in now, but look of it. We'll just see how we react. And if we get 2R on this trade, I won't be trading New York tonight. I'll sit out. So we're 5 minutes off the open now. So we'll get to see a bit of volatility in a minute. All right, so we've really got this pre-open market going on, just that sideways. We obviously had a liquidity sweep and now we're just like accumulating orders. So we're really not ready until we get that clean break below here. We're just accumulating. So this is not the type of price action I like. We're literally, 2 minutes off open. So we'll just see how we react off the open, whether we're going to get a little bit push higher or we're just going to break down from here. But we haven't created any higher highs, so okay. So opens 1 minute away. And we are dropping. Okay, that's crazy. So we're on the open now. We've just had a really crazy price action. We did dip down quite aggressively. And then we went back up. So quite volatile at the moment. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, really bit crazy, actually pretty fast. So It might be a stop loss if we get that big push up. But again, we need a break then above here to be a change in market. So we'll just see what goes on. We've just wicked into those FVGs really. Crazy. All right, here we go. So we're attempting again to push below this area. So yeah, when you're in a trade before the open, you just got to buckle up for the ride. You're either going to get stop loss or you're going to get TP. Okay, another attempt. Let's see. All right, here we go, guys. Okay, so we have wicked below here. So I'm going to leave my trade as is, especially if we wick below. And you can see we've had 2 wicks into this FVG here, rejections. Yeah. All right, beautiful. That's what I wanted to see. I want to see a nice close below here. Right, so this would have been my entry then. So we would have broke this low here. See, breaker structures just appeared. That would have been my initial entry for a low risk setup. So where we are now, we're pretty good. We'll just see how quickly this trade takes profit or doesn't. We'll just see. It's just a 2R on this one. Okay, we're getting a bit of volume, so I'm just going to record this now in case it's a quickie. Even really, how many ticks above is my stop? Not many, I don't think. 4 ticks, yeah, that's fine. I'll just leave it as is. I could have actually reduced it possibly. I think for this sell here, the nearest target is this low here. But I'm just happy with the 2R, especially being a Monday. All right, I'll be back, guys. Okay, so we're hovering around break even on this trade at the moment. We'll see what goes on. If it does stop me out, I wouldn't have changed anything with this trade because if we were in it, this breaker structure is where our entry would have been, and we would be in drawdown at the moment on this particular trade. Our stops would have been either here or this swing high. Normally, because it's so close, I would have had the stops above this swing high anyway. So my stop loss placement is where I would have it. So if we do get stopped out, I'm happy because I've done what I would have done anyway on this trade. So we'll see what goes on. It hasn't broken this high yet. So it's still okay. So we'll just see. Because yeah. Anyway, we'll see how it reacts from this level here. What it can be doing is taking out stops from these people here, and we've had a change of character to the upside now, so that might be a negative thing. So that could be stop loss will be hit, but we'll just see, unless that was a high and was taking out those stops there, which is possible because people that got in on the break structure leg there, stops would be above that swing. So it makes sense. Very slow too, guys. Pretty slow volume on this one. So now we really need, oops, hang on. We need to break below here to be in it to win it. So we're back in profit on it. Pretty messy price action now for me. This is not how I like it playing out. So when you see the trades, especially the ones that I've put up on the YouTube where we've hit our take profit quite quickly, this is not how price plays out. It is usually fairly quick. So for me, I really need a bit of volume, come below this area for it to be decent. Yeah. If it does stop us out, it wasn't going to do the market maker model. It just wasn't. So if we look at the 15, let's have a look. Yeah, so I mean, we have to close above there to be stopped out anyway. So I might just let this play out, see what happens. Not going to do anything right now because we're pretty slow volume. It's 310. Coming back into profit now. So yeah, we'll just have to see. I will keep you updated on this. And we can go from there. Just waiting to see whether we pushed above. So we've had that shock again. So it looks like we are going to get a push up. Yep, and we are. We've come into that area, we've taken out those stops, and it looks like we're going for mine, possibly. Interesting. Very interesting price action. OMG, look at that. What I may do, if we do come into profit here, I may just actually close out because I don't like the price action on this. So I just want to see, oh, didn't give me time. Yeah. Because for me now, the way price is acting, I would get out of this. But I'm not going to close it at this. So we'll just see again what it does. Because again, like I said, we could have just been taking out the stop losses that were resting there. For this breaker structure, people put their stops below the swing high leg, which is there. This is an FVG here now for the upside. So price is going to come back to bounce off of this area regardless. But for me to get out, I need to get out in profit. So let's see how. I want to close it in $2. We'll just wait. Because I will be spewing if we do come down further. I'll be spewing if I get out, and it's literally was just taking out this. I should just let it play out a little bit. What's the time? 3:12. All right. Oh my God, my dog is being silly. I put my stop loss break even on this, just the way price is acting, but it does look like we're pushing down at the moment. But where I've got my break even stop, we may get stopped. So let's see, if we break below this low, I'll be happy to move my stop loss back to its original holiday spot. This is starting to look like to me like what I predicted. So those stop losses there were taken out. If we break below here, it'll be all good. Yep. Okay. So we're coming down by the look of it. Now, if we break below here, we're going to have another break structure again. What a crazy, crazy trade. I'm just going to put my stop loss back in the original spot just because I don't want to get prematurely stopped out of this if it does come back a little bit. especially if it breaks below this low. If it breaks below this low, I'm happy. Right, okay, so we have tapped back in here. So that's, once we break below this, this is a change of character in the other direction now. So we've had a break of structure to the downside. So to make sure I'm recording, yeah, I'm recording. Oh my God, so you've been able to experience the headache of this trade with me. What a freaking loop-de-loo trade. All right, so another break of structure, we're coming down. I'm just gonna let my dog out. Oh my gosh, can't believe it. That was painful, guys. I think once we hit stop, take profit, we'll just do a sigh of relief together and just be fucking happy with this. Oh my God, here we go. Here we go. Oh, all right, we're out of that trade. Woohoo. All right, guys, I'll see you again later. That was mental.